from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's a battle for first place. The Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim separated by only 2 percentage points atop the AL West. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown along with Alan Ashby. Julia Morales joins us soon to see Game 2 of this series. The Astros did a lot of hitting, 14 hits last night, and won the opener 10-5 to pull into a virtual tie for the top spot, Ash.
Certainly nice to see after falling behind early 4-1. The Angels led after an inning and a half, and the Astros just came pounding back. Colin McHugh got his game together, and the bullpen pitched well, and when it's all said and done, right back even with the Angels.
And the Astros are 34-17 at home, the best winning percentage at home in the American League. They've reversed their fortunes. They were so-so in the first 17 at home.
Right on through that list of stats, you can see how much better the Astros have been over the last 34 games. That means hitting and pitching. ERA far superior to what it was in the first 17. The batting average obviously shows that. The home runs per game. Over 2 runs per game better offensively. It tells you that the Astros, for whatever reason, are very comfortable here at Minute Maid Park.
AT&T Rewind shows you some of the big swings from last night, Ash.
And they got a bunch of them. Carlos Correa had the early one as the Angels had jumped on top opposite field as he continues to slam Major League pitching. Then Chris Carter. It's been a while, but number 17 was a key home run in this game. 2-run shot made it a 1-run affair, and then the Astros just came pounding back. Colby Rasmus had a couple of hits on the night. Jose Altuve did his share with 5 RBIs, I think you might say. We saw some fancy base running from Jake Marisnick, and overall it was a very good offensive night for the club.
Garrett Richards has really pitched well against the Astros, Ash.
That he has. He's pitched well against most teams. 5-2 lifetime against Houston. 3-1 right here at Minute Maid Park. He's got great stuff. You can see the breaking pitches. They are really tough on top of a fastball that will be likely most of the time above 95 miles an hour.
Coming up, one of the Astros' primary offensive weapons has been rebooted recently. They'll need to deploy it at every opportunity to counter the arsenal of Garrett Richards. What's the plan of attack? We'll tell you more about it coming up.
Game 2 of this 3-game set. Carlos Correa and company ready to go, ready to take another one from the Angels, their division rivals. And they're coming off a great night offensively. 14 hits scattered throughout this lineup yesterday. 3 of those hits coming off the bat of Carlos Correa, who now has 50 hits since making his debut back on June 8th. We're taking a look back at his night last night. Tough pitcher in C.J. Wilson. Well, no problem for Carlos Correa, who came out in the first inning with a opposite field home run to cut the Angels' lead in half there, 2-1. And his night didn't end there. He had a walk and then had 2 more hits. He's using the entire field. We've seen him do that since his call-up as well. So feeling really good. He's a perfect 4 for 4 against C.J. Wilson, by the way. Feeling good against that guy. But Correa always comfortable in this role here with the Houston Astros and feeling pretty good defensively, too. You see his numbers since the All-Star break, so he's come on strong this second half, too. He's getting a lot of questions about Rookie of the Year, even. He did get that Rookie of the Month honors back in June, but to be asked about it, he said, since day one, that's been my #1 goal. Very important for me, but it's also important to get this Houston Astros ball club into the postseason. A lot of fun watching this guy, and he'll be behind Lance McCullers tonight as we get ready for the Astros and the Angels. Coming up next, first pitch and lineups. Don't go anywhere.
Sports is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Inside air-conditioned Minute Maid Park, where the Astros have won 5 in a row and 10 of their last 11. It is Game 2 of this 3-game series. The Astros are 7-3 since the All-Star break. The train is rolling toward the left field corner, and the Toyota drive to the playoffs brings you up to date on these two clubs in a virtual dead heat. And the Angels are 2 percentage points ahead of the Astros, 556 to 554. Houston has played a couple more games, and there you have the wild card race with the Astros or Angels, 3.5 ahead of the Twins, and that's looking more and more interesting for fans of that particular race. That doesn't really take shape, though, until September for most people, actually.
Yeah, I think in terms of the division, it's become a 2-team race. I think the Texas Rangers in 3rd place, 8 games back, would have to go on some kind of a run to make things happen. But seems to be, for the moment, between the Angels and the Astros picking up Game 1 here in the series. That was a big one.
Now for Game 2. We look at the starting lineup for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and again it is without Mike Trout. David DeJesus, the newcomer, leads off in center field. Cole Calhoun's in right field. Albert Pujols batting third, playing first base, followed by another newcomer, left fielder David Murphy, Houston-born. The shortstop is Eric Ibar, batting fifth. At DH, C.J. Cron, followed by third baseman Connor Gillespie, second baseman Johnny Giovatella, and catcher Carlos Perez.
On the mound for the Astros, Lance McCullers, and he is up to the task. He has been already through some of the fires. He had strung together 3 consecutive starts with just 1 run allowed in those. One of those against the Angels. The last couple of starts, not quite as good, but did strike out 10 against Tampa Bay. A couple of starts back.
David DeJesus just arrived on the scene in that trade with Tampa Bay. And he takes over in center field for this game tonight. .259 for DeJesus with the Rays. And he belted 5 homers while driving in 26. He's 2 for 6 against the Astros. And there's a strike to DeJesus. Good contact hitter. He came up with Kansas City. Also played with Oakland and the Cubs. Washington. And just arriving in this deal to give them support in the outfield. He takes it. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Daniel Robertson, a right-handed batter, was the starter in center field last night for the Angels. McCullers gets a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Last time out, McCullers struggled to go 5 innings. He had a pitch count of 89. He gave up 2 runs and got a no decision against Boston. The Astros won it 5-4. And that was after a break of 11 days since his previous start in Tampa Bay right before the All-Star break. Looks sharper so far through 4 pitches. He gets a called third strike.
Now look at our strike zone presented by MD Anderson. As we watch Lance McCullers, a couple of 4-seamers, a 2-seamer, and then this breaking ball that catches the outside corner for the first out of the night. He picks it up with the K.
Cole Calhoun is the batter. Calhoun, a .275 hitter, has 13 homers, 56 runs batted in. He was 1 for 5 in last night's game. Infield shifts around on him as well. And he fouls back the fastball. There's strike 1. This is the second start for McCullers against the Angels. He pitched very well against them in Anaheim. June 24th, getting a no decision, but giving up just 4 hits and 1 run in 6 innings. The Astros lost that game in the 13th. Late on the fastball, Calhoun falls behind 0-2.
Up to 96 already. So Lance McCullers is loose. It should be a shootout tonight. 2 hard throwing righties.
Yep, and they both have been stringing together outstanding starts recently. Calhoun's driven in 20 runs this month, tied for 4th best in the majors. Fastball's hit in the air. Here's Valbuena giving chase over into foul territory, sliding, can't quite get there. And Calhoun stays alive at no balls, 2 strikes, despite the good effort by Valbuena.
That's the 3rd high fastball in this sequence to Calhoun. Having a hard time getting to it, but that would probably be true for most hitters. That's a long way to run for Luis in an all-out effort. I thought for a moment he might have gotten leather on it. Not so.
Count remains 0-2 for Calhoun. And a big hook strikes him out. I was going to ask you whether you'd go back with a fastball because he wasn't really handling that pitch, but we just got a resounding answer there.
Well, I guess the answer on the breaking ball right now is go for it, because the 2 times he's thrown it, a couple of strikeouts have come right out of it. Let's see what this one looks like. That's a serious downward bender there.
Tremendous snap on that pitch. Now, longtime Astros foe Albert Pujols, who was 1 for 4 with an RBI and a walk last night. Fastball up and in, ball 1 to Albert. Albert's hit .205 against Houston this season with 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. 29 homers this season, 63 runs batted in for Albert. Second to teammate Mike Trout in the home run derby in the majors. And Pujols has hit 48 career long balls against the Astros, more than any other player in Houston history. He moved past Hank Aaron recently. Ground ball to shortstop. Carlos Correa makes it a 1-2-3 start for Lance McCullers. Garrett Richards next. Astros starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. A.J. Hinch will lead off with second baseman Jose Altuve, and he has heated up. Preston Tucker's in left field with Carlos Correa at shortstop. The DH is Evan Danis. He cleans it up, followed by third baseman Luis Valbuena, right fielder Colby Rasmus, catcher Hank Conger, the former Angel, first baseman John Singleton, and center fielder Jake Marisnick.
Top right-hander Garrett Richards on the mound, 27 years of age. He's 10-7 on the year with a .325 earning. And I'll tell you what, he can give it to you about as tough as anybody in the league when he is on. In his last 8 starts, he's pitched very well, winning 5 times in those 8. And since the All-Star break, 1-1 with a .159 earning.
Jose Altuve is the leadoff man for the Astros. He's now 10th in batting average in the American League. High fastball, ball 1 to Altuve. .305 for Jose, 9 homers, 48 runs batted in, 114 hits, ranks him 4th in the league, and he had his best RBI night last night as a major leaguer, driving in 5. Fastball's hit in the air, and 3 players go for it. Ibar over to foul territory, and that hit the roof. So it is no longer in play above foul territory. If it had hit above fair territory, it would have been in play.
Big fastball, big swing results in putting it up there in the rafters.
.438 during his 17-game home hitting streak for Altuve.
The Astros are really enjoying hitting here at Minute Maid Park.
That's a strike to make it 1-2. Ty Wigginton was the last Astro to have a 17-game home hitting streak. That was in 2008. And that ties the Minute Maid Park record for an Astro. Altuve chases one upstairs and fouls it back to keep the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That standard fastball from Richards appears to have a little bit of a natural cut in it.
Altuve has hit .364 against the Angels this season. And he rolls one to first, where Albert Pujols picks it up, turns it into out number 1 for Richards.
Defensively for the Angels tonight, behind Garrett Richards, David Murphy, just recently acquired in left field along with David Jesus, a newcomer. Cole Calhoun in right. On the left side of the infield, Connor Gillespie and Eric Ibar. On the right, Johnny Giovotella and Albert Pujols. Behind the plate, Carlos Perez.
Preston Tucker's the batter. He was 0 for 1 in last night's game. Home plate umpire is Greg Gibson. He's the crew chief. Smoothed out the dirt in front of home plate. Tucker at 261 has 9 homers, 27 runs batted in. Had a good series over the weekend in Kansas City. Richards deals and it's ball 1. Richards 5-2 lifetime against Houston with a 3.50 ERA in 11 games. 8 as a starter. Great numbers at Minute Maid Park. 3-1 with a 180. It's 2-0. Last time he faced the Astros, he beat Scott Feldman back on May 10th. Here giving up 1 run in 6 2/3 innings. Had a no-hitter through 6. That's in for a strike. That game was at Anaheim. 2 balls and a strike. Oh, Richards, a 10-game winner, really throws that hard snapping breaking ball. He throws a cutter and a slider. Fly ball out to right field. Calhoun, 2 outs. And he was dialing it up the last time the Astros saw him in May. Last time out he lost 3-0 to the Twins, giving up 3 runs in 8 innings. Carlos Correa has done well against Angel pitching. 7 for 18, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. He hit a home run last night, up to 299 now with 9 homers, 28 runs batted in for Correa. And that .545 slugging percentage is tops among American League rookies. He had 3 hits and a walk last night. Ball 1 to Correa. But Correa has had the researchers thumbing back through the record books. 50 hits in his first 42 major league games. 1 ball, 1 strike. Julia talked about that. Since 1950, only 3 players have had 50 hits before they turned 21. And done that in as few games as Correa. So he's in select company. Lays off that pitch. That makes it 2-1. Who are they? Some luminaries. Roberto Clemente, Orlando Cepeda, Rennie Stennett, and now Carlos Correa.
That is quite a list. Start talking Roberto Clemente and Orlando Cepeda. You're talking about some of the big hitters that have come onto the scene.
A couple of Hall of Famers. Fly ball to right field. 1, 2, 3 first for both hurlers. No score after 1.
night at every Astros home game. Connect with other young professionals while enjoying an extended happy hour in the Bud Patio from 5 to 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, July 30th. For more info, visit astros.com/youngprofessionals or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Lance McCullers back out for the second, coming off a 1-2-3 inning for him, and feeling pretty good after that last outing. He wasn't as sharp as he wanted to be coming out, but it had been a while since he had pitched, this time off 6 days rest. One thing that he did notice in that last outing, his breaking ball was getting hit around a little bit. More like a slider is how he used it in that last outing against Boston. So today wanted that breaking ball to be more like a curve, a little bit harder, and we saw it very effective in the first inning, getting De Jesus and Calhoun to strike out on that pitch, guys.
It does look a lot sharper tonight compared to last time, Julia. That's a good report. By the way, do we call them young urban professionals or young rural professionals? What's the terminology?
That's a great question. I'm going to have to do some research.
All right. We're also getting a question about the slot in the right field fence. That's always there. There's a screen covering that, so no danger there. David Murphy leads it off in the second inning. Infield playing him to pull, and the Houston native looks at strike one. 296 for Murphy, just acquired in the deal from Cleveland with 5 homers. He has 27 runs batted in. Left field has not been a productive position for the Angels. Their left fielders combined have hit .213 with a .588 OPS. That's the major league low. Matt Joyce has been the left fielder much of the time. He's on the DL right now. Little tap brings in Correa. Correa quick over to Singleton. And when you're 6'4" and reaching down low and having to get it in that hand, get it up for the throw, that's a quick transfer required, Ash.
Not an easy play at all for Carlos. He knew he was the guy that had to come and get it. He's got that little somewhat overhand toss, and that also can make it tough, in this case on John Singleton. So a nice play on each end. And let's take a look at our Super Mole presented by Mattress Firm. Carlos Correa is going to be on the Super Mole a few times in his career.
Oh. It requires that because his actions are spectacular and short. There's ball one to Eric Ibar. The shortstop in the number 5 spot at .282 with 2 homers, 35 runs batted in, .346 this month for Ibar. And there's a swing for a strike. Last night he had a hit and drove in a run. Ibar has settled into this number 5 spot in the lineup recently. But there might be a change with Murphy arriving on the scene now. Fastball is into center field. Marisnik moving over toward right center, and he'll make a throw into second, and it's cut off. That's a hustling double for Ibar. Marisnik had to run a long way to get there, and Ibar gets his 18th double.
And Jake did hustle to his left to get there. I don't know in the end, though, if he might have gotten surprised by Ibar taking a shot at second base. See if we can pick it up here. You'll see the hustle to get to that point. That's hard moving to the left for a right-hand center fielder to fire back to second. I think that may have been the only difficulty that left Ibar the winner in that matchup.
C.J. Cron is the batter now. He looks at ball one. He's DHing tonight. He was 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's game. He played first base. In for a strike, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count now to the 25-year-old C.J. Cron. The Angels are 8th in runs scored in the American League with 428. They have gone 7-4 since the All-Star break. The Astros are 7-3. Pitch is high. It's 2-1. The Astros have played 101 games. The Angels have played 99. This is the start of a stretch of 8 remaining games between now and the end of the season between these two clubs. Altuve went to second base. The pitch is ball 3. Head to head, the Astros are up in the season series 6-5 and scored 48 runs compared to the Angels 35.
Glad to see Altuve slip into the bag there at second base. I think Ibar, given the opportunity, will take off for third.
Cron put some air underneath it. Now here's Singleton coming over near the first base bag and makes the catch on a foul ball. 2 outs. That graphic showed the Astros with a .301 batting average with runners in scoring position against the Angels, who have the 5th best ERA in the American League. Now it's Connor Gillespie, yet another newcomer. So the general manager, Bill Stoneman, who took over from Jerry DiPoto, has made some moves very quickly. Of course, he had been the longtime GM of the Angels and had retired. .249 for Gillespie, 3 homers, 18 runs batted in. David Freese is on the disabled list, and Gillespie playing for the 2nd straight night in this series at third base. That's ball 1. Giovatello on deck. This Angel club will go on to play the Dodgers in Los Angeles over the weekend, while the Astros are here against Arizona. That's a shot into right center field. That'll get Ibar home, and extra bases here. 1-0 Angels. Gillespie around second and moving on into third. There's an overthrow past Correa, backed up by Altuve on an RBI triple by Gillespie. That's his 2nd triple of the year. It's RBI number 19.
Talked about the difficulty of getting on top of that fastball, that riding heat from McCullers. This one had a little sink to it. That might have been the changeup, and clearly you could see Gillespie get the head directly to it as he lined it to the gap.
He's been working on that pitch. Now 2 extra base hits in the inning have the Angels in front. Giovatello checked his swing. There's ball 1. He's on a career high 7-game hitting streak. .267, 3 homers, 36 runs batted in. He had a hit and a walk last night. Ground ball to third. Valbuena down on a knee. Throws, and there's the scoop. Digging it out of the dirt. John Singleton for out number 3. 1 run, 2 hits, and a man left. 1-0 Angels. Power player is speed merchant and resident triple machine Evan Gaddis.
He can pick up the 3 bangers. Had 1 in his career before this season. Now has 8 on the triple career. Look at that. And he's starting to act like he expects to hit those 3 bangers. He had no notion of stopping at second last night. Now we're getting a peek at a good bunch of them. This might have been the beginner, that one in Detroit in right center field. Gaddis has turned into that guy.
He leads it off in the last of the first inning. Ground ball rolled to shortstop, charged by Ibar. 1 pitch, 1 out for Richards. Luis Valbuena will follow. He's trying to snap an 0 for 17. Valbuena remains the Astros leader in homers with 19. His batting average is 196, and he's driven in 40. We did not see Jed Lowry, who was due to rejoin the Astros for an examination sometime today or tonight. Jed's been playing third base at AA Corpus Christi. He's played 5 rehab games. Ball 1 to Valbuena. The Astros wanted to take a look at him and then decide the future course of action. That could involve Jed Lowry playing third base for the Houston Astros very soon. A.J. Hinch had not seen him as a batting practice for the Astros tonight. Breaking pitch is fouled, and Valbuena takes the count to 1-2. And last night was a rough night for the Angels starter, C.J. Wilson. In 4 innings, he allowed 6 hits and 6 runs. He was the loser. The Astros took it 10-5 with a 14-hit attack, including 2 homers. They had 3 doubles and a triple. Breaking ball and a strikeout of Valbuena. 5 straight retired by Richards.
And really nothing unusual in terms of what Richards is doing. Right over the top of that yanker. Tough pitch to get to. Same with McCullers. You get those breaking balls going with that mid-90s plus kind of fastball. Very tough on the hitters.
Wednesday night is Dollar Hot Dog Night here at Minute Maid Park. Folks taking advantage of those bargains. Colby Rasmus is the hitter. Ball 1 comes down and in to Colby. At 237, he has 13 bombs, 35 driven in with 17 doubles. Last night, Colby had 2 for 4. One of those a double, and he drove in a run and scored 1.
Been a really good outfielder for this team.
2 balls and no strikes.
And that's been his history. Power in the bat. And a guy that can go get him. He's been a center fielder, but he's played everywhere well.
Colby looks at it, and it's 3 balls, no strikes to him. He's walked 25 times this year. Richards with powerful stuff. Came from a first-round draft choice. That was in 09. He's now 27. Strike call makes it 3-1. Richards went to the University of Oklahoma. He was born in Riverside, California. Last year he had the 5th lowest ERA in the American League, 2.61, going 13-4. And he spent 60 days on the disabled list. Tapped up the first base line. Pujols with it for out number 3. That's 6 in a row now, set down by Richards and company. Well, coming up in the next inning, we'll have Christy Feliz talking about Craig Biggio weekend coming up. will join us, and we'll look back at some scenes from 2007. And the resident Hall of Famer for the Houston Astros, Craig Biggio, with hit number 3,000. All those things having been celebrated on Sunday and over last weekend in Cooperstown, New York. Just a special time for the Astros as a franchise as they get their first Houston Astro Hall of Famer. Great to see his whole family there, and Matt Galati and some of his other managers, general managers, a lot of friends, some teammates in Cooperstown, New York, and many, many Houston Astros fans. It was a terrific time in Cooperstown over the weekend. Now, Christy Feliz is joining us. We get to celebrate it here this weekend.
We're so excited to bring the excitement back to the fans that weren't able to make the trip, although I did hear that we were very well represented in Cooperstown. This weekend kicks it off, actually, with some Biggio Hall of Fame promotional items. On Friday, we'll have a Craig Biggio Hall of Fame bobblehead this whole weekend presented by Coca-Cola. Saturday, a Biggio replica pinstripe jersey giveaway. And Sunday, a replica Hall of Fame plaque.
Ground ball diving. Valbuena gets up, throws to first on a hop, not in time. There's an infield hit by Carlos Perez.
So we're really excited about all three of these, really commemorating this special occasion on the first of two Biggio Hall of Fame weekends that we'll have in August. We'll talk about the second one here in just a bit, but the bobblehead, the jersey, the Hall of Fame plaque, very cool working on that item. Obviously working very closely with the Hall of Fame, and it is an exact replica of the plaque that just got hung this weekend. So really happy to be able to give the fans these items. And then on the 22nd of this month, so Saturday the 22nd, we will actually host probably the largest pregame ceremony that we have had here for sure. And Biggio will address the fans here at Minute Maid Park. So really excited about that. 10,000 fans will get a Hall of Fame t-shirt that night, also presented by Coca-Cola. But really just a chance for them to come out, show their support, their H-Town pride for our resident Hall of Famer. He is very thrilled to be able to come back home and give even a portion of that fabulous speech that he gave in Cooperstown to our fans here.
It was terrific. David DeJesus taking ball one, and so we'll get a chance for the Houston fans who were not able to travel to see him in person. And of course it's been a whirlwind time for him and his family, but maybe things will start to slow down a little bit and they can just enjoy all that right at home.
I'm sure they hope so. I can't even imagine all the parties, all of the gatherings they've had, and what a great speech though. He really did a great job with that, and we're happy to be able to host him back here on the 22nd. But this weekend first, definitely come out for these items. It's been a while since we've given away a Biggio jersey, so happy to do that on Saturday. His bobblehead replicating one of the moments where he tips his hat to the fan, or tips his helmet to the fans in his last season here in 2007, and then of course that plaque, like I said. On the 22nd too, I'm going to hop around to both Biggio weekends and then come back to the 15th. But on that 22nd, we will actually have the Hall of Fame plaque here at Minute Maid Park, not only to be part of that pregame ceremony, but also we'll have a location on the concourse that will be able to offer some photo opportunities for fans. So there is only one of these. It is traveling from New York with a representative from the Hall of Fame to come down, so we're thrilled to be able to bring that to our fans in Houston as well.
Yeah, some great moments, including hit number 3,000 from Craig throughout those 20 years of his career. Another question for you. The gates are opening earlier Saturday than normal, so we know that there will be quite a demand for these 10,000 jerseys, right, to be given away, and people can come in and come into the ballpark as early as 3 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah, definitely get here early. They're obviously very high demand items. That jersey, of course, will go fast on Saturday when the gates open early. So get here, get in line, get your item. We'll have 10,000 of them at the gates. So yes, definitely make sure you get here early.
DeJesus puts one in the air outside the right field line and back foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes now.
So talking about a few other things we have going on this weekend too, it is another big and bright Friday night. We have a post-game fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil Corporation, as always, with this week's fireworks show featuring a musical Divas theme. And I hear a little rumor that Orbit has something up his sleeve for this one. So that should be fun.
Orbit usually does. Those are sharp-looking Hall of Fame caps, by the way. Down in the team store. Runner going, and it's strike 3 call. A throw on one hop, not in time. A strikeout of DeJesus for out number 1, and a steal by Perez, his first.
So Friday night, of course, also a return of the happy hour at St. Arnold Bar, featuring 525 specials behind the left field wall. Crawford boxes that day, and day fresh Budweiser at the Bud Patio from 5 to 6:30. So come out early for that. On Saturday, a bit away from the park, we'll have Chris Carter signing autographs at the North Freeway AT&T location in Houston on Saturday from 11 to 12. And also, Jake Marisnick will be signing autographs at Academy Sports and Outdoors in Cypress. So all that information located on our website for exact addresses, but those guys will be out in the community, so go say hi to them. And then Sunday, of course, in addition to the Replica Hall of Fame plaque, is another Kroger Family Sunday. So kids ages 5 to 14 can run the bases after the game. Always a great atmosphere here with those family days on Sundays.
Cole Calhoun, the batter. McCullers throws one. It bounces off Conger and heads over by the dugout. And that wild pitch gets Perez to third base.
Also want to remind everyone, as we're talking about Biggio's Hall of Fame, to make sure that you still head out to those Time-Wise convenience store locations. We do still have that cup program going on in Market. $5 cup, 77-cent refills through the rest of the summer. And with that purchase, you can get $10 off an Ultimate Car Wash or a select pair of sunglasses.
Now the infielders are coming in. Correa's moved back over to the third base side of second, out of the shift. And the pitch to Calhoun, ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. You mentioned something about that weekend of August 15th, Christy?
I did. So August is a very fun weekend, or a very fun month here at Minute Maid Park. On the 15th, we will be celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the National League Championship team from 2005 in that historic World Series run. We have a lot of guys confirmed coming back into town from that team. Bagwell, Biggio, Berkman, Brad Lidge, Brad Osmus. We're playing the Tigers, of course, so that worked out well.
Yes, it did.
Really excited about that entire weekend. We'll have some giveaways that weekend as well. Saturday will be the main day where we'll have a luncheon that actually sold out very quickly in Union Station lobby.
A big strikeout for McCullers for out number 2.
That'll be from 11 to 1. We'll host a press conference with those guys after that autograph session. And then the biggest piece of this on Saturday, or biggest public piece, will be our pregame ceremony where we honor all of the 05 alumni that'll be in for that weekend.
Ran into Mike Gallo in Cooperstown. He said he's planning on coming.
He is on our list. Such a fun year that was, and we're really happy to be able to have brought back in so many notable guys from that team and be able to relive those magical moments from the 2005 season with our fans, as we're in the midst of a pretty magical season ourselves right now. So that really is going to jive well.
Well, you mentioned Brad Lidge, and guess who's batting? Albert Pujols. Those two guys go back to 05.
You had to, didn't you?
Sorry about that. Not as if anyone has forgotten. No balls and 2 strikes. That's a great weekend coming up, and then, you know, the weekend to follow as well, the 22nd.
I've got you working a lot those 2 weekends.
That's good. It's all fun.
Definitely a lot of exciting things going on this month, so encourage our fans to really stay tuned to Astros.com, our social media accounts. We're putting out information all the time with all of these great things that we have going on. But that August 15th and August 22nd are really going to be a lot of fun here, and we hope as many fans as possible can come out and enjoy that time with us.
And this kind of riveting baseball, too, brings fans out, so that's the bonus, those celebrations you talked about. But the baseball itself has been so interesting for people. And,
absolutely.
A lot of fun for you guys when you come to work in the morning and plot out how these things work with the giveaways and all the other plans to think about an exciting baseball game being sort of the hub of that whole day or night.
You're absolutely right, because at the end of the day, what's happening on the field is primary, right? It comes first, and everything else is really supplementing what we're doing out there. But to be able to have the energy that the fans have in the park day in and day out now, really does add to the momentum you bring with these themed weekends that we do, and especially when you're bringing in folks and having the types of celebrations that we are the next couple of weekends, that'll make for a great atmosphere.
Marisnick with the catch. Thanks, Christy. We look forward to all those things you've outlined coming up soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christy.
Quote of the day. Jake Marisnick on rebooting the running game said we were doing it more early in the season and trying to get back to that. It's just another aspect of our offense that helps us score runs. The more we can get back to that, the better our offense is going to be. Marisnick with a stolen base, 2 runs scored. He's right. We saw this a lot early in the season, but guys, after talking to Gary Pettis, third base coach, about this, they're in the middle. Pitchers really were much quicker to the plate, having to make that adjustments against these Astros.
Yes. Thanks, Julia. And Conger looks at that one upstairs from Garrett Richards, who has come as advertised. It's ball 1. Conger at 235 with 6 homers, has driven in 14. The former Angel takes that one, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. He's gone 5 for 13 against his old club this season. Conger starting back-to-back games. Last night, he was on 3 times and scored 3 times. He had a single, double, and he was hit by a pitch. Connor Gillespie's over on the right side of the infield with Ibar the only infielder between second and third. And some managers do that. They'll displace their third baseman and put him on the right side of the infield while leaving the shortstop to cover the entire left side himself.
One of those foul balls that takes a bite. And let's see. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Right above that left knee. We've already seen that Hank's a tough guy. That one, that does take a chunk out.
Fastball foul back there, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Richards really can bring it. Mostly everything is hard. He throws a 79-mile-per-hour curveball, but only throws that about 6% of the time. Singleton's on deck, then Marisnick due to bat third. In the air, and it goes out, and in right center field, it's De Jesus underneath. And that's 7 straight set down by Richards. Interesting that both De Jesus and Murphy, 2 left-handed hitting outfielders, arrived in trades on the same day. And then right before that, Shane Victorino. So in essence, There have been 3 outfielders acquired in just a very short time by Bill Stoneman to try to shore up a weak area for the Angels.
Seems like a lot of dancing around to pick up a spot, that left field spot, and you mentioned it. It's been troublesome this year offensively, but 3 guys coming in to fill likely that role when Mike Trout's healthy.
John Singleton looks at ball 1. Singleton with a 171 average, has no homers, 4 runs batted in. He started on Friday, went 0 for 3 in Kansas City. He takes that pitch, and it's a 2-0 count to Singleton. Singleton had big numbers at AAA Fresno, 17 homers when he was recalled June 26th. And also a very good RBI season for John, 66. He had a 940 OPS at AAA. It's 3-0 to Singleton. He is 0 for 6 in his career against Garrett Richards. The Astros have won 8 of their last 11 from the Angels here at Minute Maid Park. In tight for a strike, and it's 3-1. Our old buddy Charlie Kerfeld is here tonight. Super scout for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Look at that little cut on that fastball that really was ultimately nowhere close to the strike zone. Yeah, I got a chance to sit down with Chucky.
That's ball 4. Singleton becomes the first Houston base runner of the night. He didn't even bring his cone head on this trip.
No, he's been prevented from traveling with that.
He was spotted in the audience at Corpus Christi last night, scouting the hooks. Jake Marisnick is the batter. His legs made that impact that Julia talked about earlier in last night's game. At 234, he has 5 homers, 21 runs batted in. Jake scored 2 runs. He had a walk and an infield hit. Then he stole a base. He came home with that second run driven in by Altuve on what was ruled a 2-run single in the 4th inning last night. Marisnick was at first base when the ball was hit. He just kept running. And now the pitching coach Mike Butcher is on his way out after ball 1 following the walk on the 3-1 count. Trade deadline coming in 43 hours and 1 minute, Ash.
Man, you got it right down to the minute, huh?
It's at 3 p.m. Central Time Friday afternoon.
You've been all over that thing. I think you do count it by the minute.
No, but you know, there's so many rumors swirling around. Jeff Luhnow was on the radio today and indicated that the Astros are talking to many clubs, but he did not tip his hand, did not indicate that anything is close to being consummated between the Astros and another team on a trade. Gillespie's in tight at third base. And Richards steps back. His pitching staff for the Angels has the 5th best ERA in the American League at 3.58. The starters have the 3rd best earned run average in the AL. It was a good stop by the young catcher Carlos Perez, who came from the Houston farm system. That was in the Hank Conger trade. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
He's good looking behind the plate. He's got a good strong arm to go with everything.
Just 24 years old. So the Twitter sphere will be alive with news about Charlie Kerfeld being here tonight. You know that. Popped up. Perez back. And that will be behind the dugout. 2 balls and a strike to Marisnick. George Springer, who takes care of all things other than playing, which he can't do with the broken bone in his wrist, has made Marisnick his pick to click tonight. By the way, he has a cast, as you know, on his right wrist, but that comes off every day for a little rehab work. He talks with Chris Carter, who delivered a homer in last night's game. Little roller goes out to second. Giovatello with a flip. Ibar, no relay. It's out number 2 from 4 to 6, forcing Singleton. And Altuve will bat.
Looked like right off the end of the bat of Jake. And with his speed, there's no way you're going to get 2 on it, but pretty nice little move by Giovatello to get that lead out. Quick backhand flip. These guys in the game today at second base have gotten so good at that backhand flip.
You saw it from an excellent angle there. Altuve rolled out to Albert Pujols in the first inning. He's a .337 lifetime hitter against the Angels. Marisnick attracts some attention. He has 14 steals in 18 tries. He stole a base last night. Perez has thrown out 9 of 23. And Richards is working on the base runner. Well, the Detroit Tigers have decided to retool. That coming from their president and general manager Dave Dombrowski today.
I like that term retool. It sounds less harsh than rebuild.
True. Popped up. Perez behind the dish. Takes care of out number 3. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded after 3. The Angels lead 1-0.
Mark on select Sundays with the Kroger Family 4-pack. The special family ticket package starts at $70 and includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and a lot C parking pass. Excuse me. Get your Kroger Family 4-pack by visiting Astros.com/value or by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
I understand we had an interesting first pitch tonight from 4 different people, Ash.
It's always scary. You get 4 catchers lined up and watch the ball cross. The guy in the green shirt throws it to the wrong catcher, and the young lady to his right crosses it. Of course, it was a nice little ground ball, but yeah, that gets a little scary when you're back there trying to catch from the person that's supposed to throw it to you, but it comes from another.
Stay in your lanes, please.
That's exactly it.
There is strike 1 to David Murphy. Kind of resembled the lanes on US 290 around Houston. Murphy grounded out to shortstop. Breaking pitch in the dirt takes the count to 2-0 on David, who is charged, of course, with the anticipation of being in a pennant race coming from Cleveland. It's 3-0, and he's a longtime competitor against the Houston Astros, a .314 career hitter against the Astros when he was with the Texas Rangers and a little bit with the Indians earlier this year.
Those Indians were a pretty popular choice at the start of the year to maybe win that division, at least get into the postseason. 16 games out now.
Didn't they make the cover of Sports Illustrated?
They very well may have.
2-2 now for Lance against David Murphy. Murphy had a couple of two-hit games in Cleveland against the Astros this season, and he is 6 for 19 against Astro pitching this year. He was a first-round pick of Boston in '03. Had an inside the park homer here in 2011, and then another home run here in 2012. Ground ball first, Singleton. One out for McCullers. Great experience for McCullers in a pennant race game with these two teams tied for first. He has been terrific here in this ballpark. 3-0 with a 1.54 ERA at Minute Maid Park. Eric Ibar doubled to right center field in the second inning, and his hustle set it up as he just kept on running, with Marisnick having to run to his left and throw back to his right. Ball one for McCullers.
Yeah, the lone run of the night comes in good part because of an ability by the Angels to steal a bag, and I think they're going to try as much as possible.
Altuve over to Singleton, 2 outs.
We saw it early last night. The Angels tried and tried to run. It didn't work out. Not that they were thrown out, they just had pitches fouled off or put in play. But I think that's a game plan for the Angels. Try to run as much as possible here against Hank Conger.
C.J. Cron fouled out to the first baseman Singleton earlier. McCullers at age 21 is the youngest starting pitcher in the majors this year. That's ball one. Several day games were played, including the Giants shutting out Milwaukee 5-0. In for a strike, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count. Giants on the heels of the Dodgers. That's a close race with a half game separating the two coming into play today, and they were even in the loss column. 1-2. There is a report that the New York Mets have traded for Carlos Gonzalez of the Colorado Rockies.
Watch out for those Mets. Cargo's been swinging it well lately. It's a player with a load of talent, and the Mets are close.
Oh, it's Carlos Gomez from the Brewers. Fly ball to right field, and that will shoot the gap goal by Rasmus. Get to the wall. Cron to second base with a 2-out double. That's his 9th two-base hit of the year. So Carlos Gomez goes to the Mets. Not Carlos Gonzalez.
Well, another talented player when he's got his game going, and he's not the guy that's hot right now, but he can make a difference.
The Astros had been linked in trade talks for him with Milwaukee. But then again, there are so many reports out there. So you see the Mets only one behind the Nationals, 2 in the loss column. Nationals just picked up Jonathan Papelbon in a trade, and that caused apparent aggravation to their closer, Drew Storen. The Braves are 7 back, and the Marlins and Phillies are willing to sell off, depending on whether they get their price. There are reports that Matt Latos and Mike Morse are headed for the Dodgers from the Marlins. Connor Gillespie, the batter. A strike one to Gillespie, who hit the RBI triple in the second inning. So apparently much more activity coming here up to that trade deadline Friday afternoon. And it's been reported also that the Phillies want to consummate any trade they might make for Cole Hamels prior to Friday. And you can understand their thinking on it, Ash, because Hamels would have to approve a trade to most clubs, including the Astros. We understand they're on that list. and he would have to be consulted and waive his no-trade clause to Houston and some other teams if that is in fact what winds up happening. So that takes time. Swing and a miss, 1-2. And in fact, sometimes the player, in this case Hamels, would require that his option year be picked up in order to approve the deals, and those things don't happen in 45 minutes.
Yeah, when you've got a no trade, that's likely the case, I would think, in any deal that might come along.
Ground ball, and Correa in the shift is positioned perfectly to take care of Gillespie's grounder. No runs, a hit, a man left. 1-0 Angels in the fourth. John Singleton drew a 1-out walk in the third inning, so Garrett Richards has come out firing, and the Gillespie 2-out triple plating Ivar in the second inning has given him the 1 run of support so far. This crowd here at Minute Maid Park watching as Tucker, Correa, and Gattis come up in the Houston fourth inning. There's the line. Tucker hit a fly ball to right field in the first. Arizona will be here over the weekend. The Diamondbacks won at Seattle today 8-2 as Pat Corbin won his second, beating King Felix. There's ball one. Diamondbacks are 2 games under 500 right now, and it'll be a chance for fans to see one of the best players in baseball, Paul Goldschmidt.
Wow, that was a pretty good two-seamer at 96 miles an hour. Good sinking action.
Pretty dynamic pitch. That late movement downward. Tucker starts the bat, and on the ruling from third base umpire Sam Holbrook, he checks his swing. 2-1. Dodgers are nearing a deal to acquire Latos from the Marlins. Also Alex Wood, Jim Johnson, and Jose Peraza from the Braves. That's a busy club right now, the Dodgers. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Tucker.
Garrett Richards has the ball darting in all directions right now.
And now time is called. He throws that baseball out of play. The Astros are 3rd in runs scored in the American League. Had a ton of offense last night. But tonight it's tough sledding for them. C.J. Wilson very unhappy with his results last night. Said after the game that with that 4-1 lead he had, he said he threw that game in the toilet. 3 balls, 2 strikes. There's a story that the Astros and Padres are talking, and their trade talks are gaining steam. And Houston is focused on pitcher Tyson Ross. Tucker takes a leadoff walk. That's the second of the night for Richards. We go to Julia Morales.
Thank you, Brownie. As Carlos Correa comes up here, he's been talking a lot recently about this series with the Angels. He's experiencing a lot of the things for the very first time in the big leagues, being a rookie. And one of the things is this playoff-type atmosphere that the Astros have been talking about being exciting games. He was really looking forward to the Angels coming in town, playing at this level of competition against this good team. Another thing he's really looking forward to is this last 2 months of the season. He said even Taylor Swift moving her concert back just in case we make the playoffs. That's really exciting for us, except I have a big crush on Taylor Swift. I'm kind of disappointed I don't get to meet her now because, of course, the team will be on the road when that concert is here at Minute Maid Park.
That's right. Ball 1. Correa hit a fly ball to right in the first inning. Well, it's partly his fault, Julia, that this concert had to be moved because of the possibility the Astros could be in postseason play then.
It is. A victim of his own success right there. Doesn't get to meet the girl of his dreams.
Maybe she'll attend a playoff game. Ground ball off the leg of Richards, goes right to second, and then they get the force out and the double play. That's a good carom for the Angels off the leg of Richards, but it turns out to be a 1-4-6-3 double play. Sharply hit grounder.
Crazy game the way it plays out. That ball's in center field without hitting Richards. You can see that thing is hit sharply. And because it was hit so sharply, they could take their time to get the back end of the double play.
Well, Correa doesn't get any luck on that sharply hit ball. Here's Evan Gattis. He grounded to shortstop. This one goes third base side and foul for strike 1 on Gattis. Well, 2 starts ago, Garrett Richards threw a gem at Boston, a 3-0 complete game 2 hitter. Walking 1 and fanning 6 for win number 10 of the year. Breaking pitch misses, and it's 1-1. Scott Kazmir will take the baseball tomorrow night for his first Astros home start at 7:10 against Matt Shoemaker. Big cut by Gattis. That makes it 1-2. Cubs beat Colorado in Chicago 3-2. John Lester going to 6-8. Carlos Gonzalez hit his 21st home run for the Rockies. We've seen his name in some trade rumors, but it was Carlos Gomez who was traded today to the Mets, who desperately needed a bat. They have plenty of young arms. Dexter Fowler hit his 10th. Anthony Rizzo, number 17 for the Cubs. Gattis strikes out. That ends the 4th inning. 4 no-hit frames for Richards. That's his second punch out. He leads it 1-0.
We take a look at 3 of Carlos Correa's best plays so far defensively. This one, June 20th, Air Correa in Seattle, robbing Mike Zunino. What a play. This is good. Okay, so this one's good too. We've seen a lot of great plays by Carlos Correa versus the Angels over the shoulder catch there. He'd been in the big leagues all of 2 weeks and had already put these 2 plays together. And then this one just this past weekend in Kansas City, Saturday night, bottom of the 9th. A great play, throws a strike to first to get Alex Rios out there, sending the game into extra innings. Cool, calm, and collected Carlos right there. So we want you to tweet us and tell us which one you think is the best defensive play out of those. The leaping grab versus Seattle, over the shoulder versus the Angels, game-saving stop at KC. Tweet any of us. Oh, that's tough.
I have another one, Julia.
Well, of course you do. There's been plenty.
Yeah. 1-0 as Giovitella takes, and there's strike one, leading off the 5th inning. Mine was the final out against Texas here, the 3-2 Houston win on Friday, July 17th, on that bullet hit by Prince Fielder. One of the hardest hit balls of the year that we've seen played by an infielder. 1 ball, 1 strike, but you're right. We could find others.
Well, that's a really good call because game was on the line on that one as well. Like the one against Kansas City, that 9th inning play was some kind of special.
Oh yeah, that's crunch time. Fly ball, and here comes Tucker in left field. Correa's in front of it, now gets out of the way. 1 out. Honorable mentions, Ash.
Yeah, and you could probably stretch it. There's that one you're talking about. Just a rocket on a hop. And a lot of guys are gone. That's potentially one of those Olay plays, but he just got down in there, stuck on it. Man, I want to tell you, you see that laser coming at you on a hop, and that's the reaction. He wasn't hurt. That was just tough.
Oh. That ball was smoked by fielder. Carlos Perez, the batter. Ball 1 to Perez. He reached on an infield hit in the 3rd.
I'm trying to remember, though, Brownie. I think in the first week Carlos was with the team, first few games, he made a play up the middle with a 360 and threw back to first that I thought was spectacular as well.
Might have been when you guys were in Chicago during his debut series against the White Sox.
Yeah, could have been.
1-1, but you're right, there's a lot to choose from. He has been a spectacular player. But you can tweet us with your nomination. It's 2 balls and a strike. Justin Verlander won for the first time this year, 3-1 or 2-1 rather. Detroit winning at Tampa Bay today. Off the edge of the plate. Now the count runs to 3-1. Full count on Perez. And Nick Tropiano traded by the Astros in that deal with the Angels, getting Hank Conger. And Perez is the young backup to Chris Iannetta. He rips a line drive left field corner, extra bases. Perez runs well. He's headed for second. And the throw is offline. It's a double for Perez. He's 2 for 2. That's his 5th 2-base hit of the year. That makes him now 6 for 13 against Astros pitching this year.
That fastball down to 93. I don't know if Lance was trying to kind of slot one and just make sure and throw a strike, but on a 3-2, that got laced hard by Perez. Right down the chute. Your basic rake job.
Hit number 5 for the Angels. 4 have been extra base hits. 3 doubles and a triple. De Jesus is the batter. He has struck out both times. Fouls it back. There's strike 1. Mike Trout is leading the world in many departments. De Jesus filling in for him tonight. Trout out for his 2nd straight game. He had a left wrist injury trying for a diving catch Sunday. Tried to swing the bat last night and felt pain, but the MRI he took has cleared him. Just not quite ready to go yet. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Trout is having an amazing year. His OPS is over 1,000. Leads the majors in homers with 31 and runs scored with 75. Probably the best player in baseball right now, Ash.
Yeah, you'd have a hard argument saying somebody's better. I think Bryce Harper would get some votes in that category. But that's just nitpicking around greatness.
Well, in fact, you have hit upon two of the great young players in the game today. 25 years old or younger. There is a long list. It is a fabulous crop of youngsters just starting the major league careers. Trout's been around for a while. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It does feel like he's been around quite a good while. And he's been a big part of what the Angels have been doing with their success.
Well, McCullers, age 21, is a part of this fine young crop. And Correa, age 20, is another big part of it. Sharp breaking balls down and in, and a check swing call goes the Angels' way. It's 3-2 on to Jesus. Chris Archer lost for Tampa Bay today. He's 9-8. Joakim Soria got his 23rd save for Detroit. And the Tigers are 3 games under 500, while the Rays are 1 game under right now. Leading some people to speculate that perhaps there will be a playoff team not playing 500 ball this year in the American League. That's a little wacky.
By the way, quickly back to Mike Trout. 23 years of age and is sitting out right now. Has 129 home runs, 112 stolen bases already in the big leagues, a career .307 mark, and almost a .400 mark on base.
Hall of Fame start to his career. That is held, and a strikeout. Looking back to Jesus, but he is strikeout victim number 4.
Not sure what De Jesus might be arguing about there, but Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. I mean, some people in Baltimore are going to bring his name up. Nolan Arenado, we were thoroughly impressed with him. Chris Bryant, we haven't seen this year up close and personal, but he's going to get a lot of attention. Giancarlo Stanton, clearly one of the game's greats. And we'll see about Xander Bogaerts and Mookie Betts. They sure look good early. You see Mookie Betts run a ball up and over the wall in Boston for a home run?
Yeah. He would have made a fantastic catch, but the ball dropped out of his glove when he landed on the other side of the fence. Strike 1 to Calhoun, who has whiffed both times.
Be a great novel. Hold tight on the other side.
Ooh. 5 punch-outs for McCullers so far. With his 2.60 ERA, he leads American League rookie pitchers. This is his 13th major league start. And he's up against it in this one. 1 ball, 1 strike. McCullers' last win came here against Kansas City June 29th. He gave up 1 run in 7 innings. He was taken out of a no-hitter after 5 innings and a 13-0 win here over Seattle in mid-June. And tight. 2-1.
I'd love to see some general managers and how they would react if they were informed they could have one of those guys, including Carlos Correa, to start their ball club. And I'd be really intrigued to see what the answer might be for most of the GMs.
True. Correa feels the bouncer, gets it on over to John Singleton. No runs, a hit, and a man left. 1-0 in the 5th. The Angels lead it.
like the historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more. For more information, visit Astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today. We'll see Hank Conger here in this inning, who had a great night last night. That didn't feel good, but did come through with 2 for 3, a single from the right side, a double from the left side. 3 runs scored for him. He crushed that double from the left side, which is where he's hitting today against Garrett Richards. AJ Hinch really liking the way that he's swinging the bat. We could see some more playing time for Hank Conger as well, just because of the way he's swinging the bat, especially on the left side of the plate. He said offensively he feels pretty good. Much more comfortable, though, swinging back from the right side just because of how many reps he's gotten this year.
Valbuena puts one in the air left field, and it gets off the wall over Murphy. There's the first Houston hit, and it's a double for Valbuena. That snaps an 0 for 18. It's double number 11 for Luis. Now, what a start to the 5th inning in a 1-0 game.
Is there a tougher location in a Major League ballpark than this one right here in left field? I don't know. You're trying to figure out if it's going in that jutting area back, but very nice job by Valbuena to get something hopefully started here in the 5th inning.
Now Colby Rasmus is the batter. He grounded to first earlier. Second curveball from Richards, and the Astros are facing a pitcher who's allowed just a .227 batting average against him this season. And that means that with hits being that tough to come by, it may amount to needing to get this runner to third base in a 1-run game. And there's ball 1 to Colby. This one gets away from Perez, and that'll get him to third on the wild pitch.
That's a big 90 feet to pick up. And now a golden opportunity in the 5th inning to get back even in this game.
Like he came up a little bit on that, Ash.
He did, and it's the fastball in the dirt, and that's a reaction pitch. You're not committed to dropping down before as you make the call, but you try to do anything you can. In this case, it goes Astros' way.
Infield comes in. That's the 11th wild pitch for Richards this season. Fly ball left. Murphy comes over. Valbuena will tag. It's not a long throw from there. Valbuena's coming. Here's the throw to the plate, and it's cut off, and he scores the tying run. Rasmus got it in the air to left field, wound up with a sac fly for his 36th run batted in, and tied the game.
Back even, and that might have been close at the plate if that throw had been on line. Watch as this comes from left field and time it. If that goes to the plate, pretty darn good shot to get him. And you see Valbuena was digging with everything he had.
And he came home to tie it 1-1. And Conger hit a fly ball to center earlier. There's ball 1 to him. As Julia mentioned, Conger has been playing more often. AJ Hinch did say, though, that he plans to play Jason Castro quite a bit in upcoming games, depending on matchups. No balls, 2 strikes.
A little look at Hank Conger, what he's been doing, that right side of the plate. He's gotten a lot better than what he had been in the past, no doubt about it, but any catcher hard-pressed when he's forced to have to go with the wheels. Still gets it done as part of that 5 RBI night for Jose Altuve.
1-2 to Conger. Conger is hitting .327 as a left-handed batter. Ropes one into right field over that shift. That was a 2-1 pitch, not 1-2, and Conger gets a single. He's delivering some nice results. His on-base average at game time was .343.
He will get his hacks from that left side of the plate. There is no doubt that he's got legit big-time power from that side.
That was 95, and he turned on it.
Yes, he did. And you could hear it. He was dead on the screws on that one.
John Singleton with the infield shift on. Drew a walk in the third inning. There's ball one to Singleton. The Astros have really improved their batting average with runners in scoring position since the All-Star break. It's nothing to write home about, 251, but that's 17th best in the majors out of 30 teams, so not too far from the average. Singleton is called for swinging by Greg Gibson. 1-1.
You know, it is a little bit of a dilemma, I would think, for A.J. Hinch in terms of the catchers you were just talking about, because Conger is hitting well over 300, 327 at the start of play tonight while batting left-handed, and less than half of that from the right side. And yet you've got Jason Castro, who's struggling but hitting left-handed as well.
Singleton looks at it, and it's 2-1 now, John. Two right-handed pitchers will be opposing the Astros the next two games. Matt Shoemaker tomorrow night at 7:10 for the Angels. Ruby De La Rosa Friday night at 7 and 7:10 for Arizona. Popped up. There's Ibar into shallow left field. 2 outs. And Marisnick will be next. Scott Kazmir shooting for win number 7 tomorrow night. Has a 2.24 ERA. That's second best in the American League. And Dallas Keuchel, who goes Saturday night, has the third best ERA in the AL, 2.32, and that gives you a chance to come out for Keuchel's corner, sit in that special left field section, third base section of the ballpark, and get those special treats like the beard. Marisnick is 0 for 1. He bounced into a force play. That's roll foul. There's strike one. Always a lot of fun to be in this ballpark when Dallas Keuchel is the starting pitcher, and he has had great results here.
Sometimes when you're struggling as a hitter, as Jake Marisnick has for a good long while, after having a great month of April to start things, you're struggling because you're not seeing the ball well or not getting good swings. He just got a great swing on that first breaking ball.
Jake takes a look at it. It's 1-1. Jake's a .317 career hitter against the men from Anaheim. Oakland and the Dodgers have a late start tonight. Clayton Kershaw has been delayed today in taking that start. It'll be Bolsinger going for LA. Foul back. Apparently he has a sore hip. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And glute. Let's not forget the sore glute. That always gets underplayed.
You're right.
Good looking yard.
Well, it looks great, and it's yielded a .667 winning percentage for the home team this year. One of the best starts the Astros have had through their first 51 games at home.
You just made it look even more beautiful, Brownie.
The players hit a lot better at home than on the road this season. Foul ball, came up and got Marisnick. He limps out of there. It's going to take him a little while to walk this one off.
Let's see where this gets Jake. Oh, right there at that area between foot and leg.
Yeah.
Maybe more on the foot.
Top of the foot, and then a dangerous area after that.
Yeah.
So he'll get some extra time. Cincinnati leads at St. Louis 1-0. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Good to see that Jake is still capable of smiling.
fair ball. It kicks out toward the left fielder, Murphy. Conger goes to third. Stand-up double for Marisnick. Well, with 2 strikes, he put a great swing on that pitch, and it netted him his 11th two-base hit of the year.
And I mentioned the really good swing on the first pitch. Jake got another very good swing. This time the fastball, and he turns it around. And at 95 down and in, no easy feat.
Conger pulled a 95-mile-per-hour pitch. So did Marisnick.
That's starting to come to life.
Mike Butcher's out at the mound in a 1-1 game with runners at second and third and 2 outs for Altuve. Altuve has done a very good job with runners in scoring position. 364 this season in 66 at-bats.
Jack in the Box takes us inside the box score. Jose Altuve has been a hot hitter, especially at home, but you can see Altuve in the red, Major League average in the blue, and Altuve just much better. Anywhere you want to look around that strike zone, right down the middle, Major Leaguers hitting 329. Altuve takes that to the limits. But you can see also with Altuve, he hits pitches almost anywhere, and he'll handle them.
Big at bat in this game with the score tied at 1, and Altuve 0 for 2. He's grounded out and fouled out to the catcher. Perez set up way outside, and the pitch is in the dirt, ball 1. Altuve has been a little bit more selective since the All-Star break. The results have been working him up to a higher batting average and higher on base average. He tops that one foul. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jose. Jose came out of the break hitting .293. At game time, he was at .305. He had a .335 on base average after the All-Star game, and that's .349 now. So he has shown a marked improvement in those last 10 games. Ground ball to short. Diving the third baseman Gillespie will not get an out, and the Astros have the lead. Altuve gets the leading run home. It's 2-1 here in the 5th inning.
At times, among the really great weapons of Altuve is that slow roller on the left side. Third baseman's the only guy that has a shot on this play. If that ball gets to shortstop, go ahead and eat it. But Altuve will get motoring right there. He's already pushing full gear. And you can see Ibar trailing behind, but if it gets that far, Altuve's going to beat it. May not be pretty, but it's gorgeous for the Astros.
And it's an RBI single for Altuve. His 49th run batted in. Preston Tucker is the batter. Runners at first and third, and the look goes over to first on Altuve. Conger scoring, and that is now an 18-game hitting streak at home for Jose Altuve. He's going. The throw bounces. He stops. And now a throw back to the plate. And Perez has a rundown on Marisnick and gets it to Gillespie for the tag. So the Astros take the lead. And the rundown, Marisnick is lost. But the Astros come up with 2 runs on 4 hits and a man left. 2-6, 2-5 on the rundown. 2-1 Astros. Airfare now at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Butter Jack with melted garlic herb butter. It's a 2-1 lead for the Astros on the Altuve RBI infield hit. Mike Scioscia's had a lengthy chat with home plate umpire Greg Gibson, third base umpire Sam Mulder.
There's your final out of the inning. And on a first pitch in a sequence like that with Preston Tucker at the plate, I don't know that I would agree. In fact, I'll just say I don't agree going that early. With a couple of strikes on Tucker, yeah, maybe. But I think Preston gets left feeling like, well, where's the confidence in my ability to drive in a run? And there's a lot of pain to go around.
Mark Coller's on the mound. The sixth inning arrives with Albert Pujols batting. He is 0 for 2. Getting news on Twitter that if the Mets do consummate that trade for Carlos Gomez of Milwaukee, Juan Lagares is expected to go to the Brewers in return for him. That's ball one to Pujols, who was grounded out and hit a fly ball to center field. Fastball hit in the air, and Altuve out of the shift gets out into shallow right center field. One down. This is one of those critical innings managers, coaches talk about after the Astros have scored to take the lead, that their pitcher needs to shut down the other club.
Yeah, I don't think this is the most overpowering we've seen Lance McCullers, but he's battling. He is a genuine bulldog out there. He believes he should win every battle he's pitted against.
David Murphy takes strike one. Murph 0 for 2 tonight. And he takes that one for a 1-ball, 1-strike count. It's 2-1 to David, a product of the fertile Houston school system. He went to Klein High School and then on to Baylor University. There's the rundown. Pitches by inning for Lance, adding up to 84. Carlos Correa said Lance is his best buddy. They've been together through the minor leagues. It goes to 2-2.
I've seen also Lance and Vince Velasquez hanging together, so I think those youngsters coming along are really getting along well here now on the big league scene.
Grounded, and Correa to his right. Goes over to Singleton, 2 outs. Well, the Angels, of course, have the edge in experience in this race for the AL West. But the Astros love their clubhouse, stocked with young players like McCullers and Correa, Preston Tucker, and others. That's Velasquez. Ibar the batter. Ibar is 1 for 2.
For me, experience is great as long as experience is latched up to talent. And sometimes talent starts to slip as you gain experience.
And it is a veteran bullpen for the most part for the Astros. Guys like Luke Gregerson, Chad Qualls, Pat Neshek. No balls, 2 strikes.
This guy is so valuable in my book. Young, couldn't care less. He is a vet when he's on the hill.
It's 1-2. Baltimore leads Atlanta 2-0 there in the top of the 9th in Baltimore. Chopped, and it's charged by Correa. Quick throw on to first. Well played for out number 3. We go to the last of the 6th inning. 2-1 Houston.
for our progressive fan of the game. I was Sonia, who has a great group of, we've got a lot of you here today. Who are y'all with? And I believe I saw you guys on the field earlier. So what brings you out today?
We're with NASA over at Johnson Space Center in Houston, and we came to support the Astros, of course, but we came out to the be out on the field, and we got to go out and bat this afternoon, practice bat.
Wait, you got in the cage?
I did not, but my daughter did.
How was that? How cool was that?
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool for all of us just to experience that. It was once in a lifetime thing. I don't think we'd ever be down there again, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, welcome NASA in the house. Here you go. Here's our progressive fan of the game right here. Sonia, guys, up to you.
Thank you. It was great to see them out today and meet Mike. You met Mike today, Julia. You got your patch. Preston Tucker with ball one in a 2-1 game. Takes one upstairs, and it's 2-0. Preston hit a fly ball to right, drew a walk, and we hope to get astronaut Terry Virts on the air later on this season. He had a 6-month stay in the International Space Station. He wore an Astros t-shirt while he was up there. Over third base near the left field line. It might be foul, and it is. 2 balls and 1 strike.
I would think for the left-hand hitters this might be a little bit like Mariano Rivera in days gone by. That hard cutter coming in on the hands, and you could see it just sawed off that swing of Preston Tucker.
Good to see the youngsters here.
Yes.
Big numbers tonight. Nice sized crowd.
If only they liked hot dogs.
Dollar hot dog every Wednesday night. There's a report that the Rangers are getting close on a Cole Hamels trade.
Well, you can't accuse him of being nearsighted.
No. Orbit straddling the fence as usual. There's a shot out to right field, hit well toward the Astros bullpen. That's a line drive homer. 3-1 Houston on Tucker's 10th of the season.
Well, you take that anytime, and that's gorgeous, as Preston appeared to wait beautifully with his hands on the breaking ball. But I'll guarantee you it has crossed the mind of Preston Tucker that he would have loved to have made that swing with those 2 guys on base in the previous half inning. Breaking ball, and the hand stayed back, and that is Preston Tucker pop. Boy, you could really see the bat going down through the baseball there.
Gorgeous swing. Now Carlos Correa looks at strike one. That's home run number 139 for the Astros. They continue to lead the majors. Hit 14 against the Angels.
Tightening up a bit. The Yankees and Blue Jays have been coming on.
Troy Tulowitzki homered in his first at bat with the Blue Jays. Snapped an 0 for 21 for him. No balls, 2 strikes. That's a jarring shock to a player like Tulowitzki, who's been with one organization his entire career and then was led to believe he would not be traded. And bingo, he's a member of the Blue Jays, but he's seemingly made the adjustment on the fly. 1-2. Now, how does it work out? Do the Blue Jays plan to win games 10-8, or will they pick up some pitching along the way?
If they don't get pitching along the way, they better plan on those double-digit offensive nights.
Foul ball by Correa. Keeps him alive at 1-2. Chris Tillman was 1 out short of a complete game. He gave up just 4 hits, and the Orioles won their 5th in a row. 2-0 over the Braves.
That is an excited young man. He's got a genuine Major League Baseball right there.
And some artwork. Flick foul by Correa. Correa has been surrounded by media in the Astros clubhouse last night and tonight. And he was answering questions about pitchers making adjustments to him. He really wants to hit to all fields and establish that. And he did. Single to right. He hit a home run to right on a changeup last night and just flicked that one with 2 strikes in the count, as he did on the previous foul ball.
You are clairvoyant, Brownie. Preston Tucker. Curveball that was away out there on the outside edge. He is very strong. Now he has the moments where he looks like he is so ready to take this game and run with it.
Homer and a single now after the Astros put together 4 hits and 2 runs in the 5th inning. Jose Alvarez, a lefty, is warming up for the Angels. And Richards did not give up a hit through the first 4. Now he's allowed 6 in the last inning plus. Gaddis the batter. Gaddis to center field. AT HOU started back. Now he moves in. 1 out.
See that big swing from Evan Gaddis, you're going to be inclined to move back, but this one right off the end of the bat. That base hit to right field by Carlos Correa is something he does extremely well. You talked about it. You know, I've, along with Jeff Blum, we've really enjoyed watching Xander Bogaerts, young shortstop with Boston. He goes to right field that same way. Bogaerts doesn't have anywhere near the power that Carlos Correa has, but I could see with that ability for Carlos Correa, him being able to hit 300 and be the power guy on top of that.
Luis Valbuena doubled and scored in the 5th. He's 1 for 2. And strike 1. Dave Dombrowski, the Tigers GM, has told teams they will consider trading all their potential free agents, David Price, Yoenis Cespedes, Joaquin Soria, and others, between now and Friday's deadline.
I find Yoenis Cespedes to be intriguing.
Ground ball right side. Correa had to wait for the ball to clear. Plays made by Giavotella. 2 outs.
Giavotella had an out presented there at second base because Correa had to wait a little bit. Not sure why he chose not to go that way.
Yeah. He sees the runner right in front of him and have to wait for the grounder. Yep. And then still does not get the lead runner here.
Watch the timing on this play. Ball goes in front of Correa, and now you've got that much room to work with. That's an out that instinctually you've got to be able to get.
And now, as a result, Colby Rasmus has a runner at second and 2 outs. He delivered a sac fly to tie the game 1-1 after grounding out. Such a difference in the way the inning sets up, because now a single gives the Astros another run, as opposed to 2 outs and a runner at first.
Was that a Jed Lowry sighting I just took in?
We'll have to take a look. He is expected to be here tonight. No balls, 2 strikes. Jed, apparently, from what we're reading and hearing from A.J. Hinch, happy with the experience of playing third base at Corpus Christi. He got enough ground ball chances to feel good about the healed right thumb after surgery. One and 2. Jed apparently came up as a third baseman, as a natural shortstop, and he is indeed right there.
You know, that's unusual for a guy to come up as a shortstop or a third baseman and then eventually play shortstop.
Right.
Most often you come up as a shortstop or you don't play there.
Rasmus grounds it foul. Colby was talking about being in a pennant race, veterans, and the experience that means to a player. And he's been both ways. And he said it need not be a disadvantage for a rookie to go through his first pennant race. It depends on how they're treated. He said in the Astros clubhouse, they're treated as if they've been around for a while.
Agreed. Think of Lance McCullers. Does the fact that he's a rookie impair his ability?
Doesn't seem to. A strikeout and a throw to first base from 2 to 3, completing that one. Follows the Tucker home run, leading it off in the home 6th inning. That made it 3-1 Houston.
that Astro. This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer, and here are a few clues for you. He pitched in 34 games for Houston in 1975 and 76. The cousin of Felipe Jesus and Matty Alou. Also the first Astro to homer in his first major league at bat. Make sure to tweet the boys in the booth. Brownie and Asher answers, and we'll share the answer with you later in the broadcast.
Oh, Julia, you're like a stern school marm with a tough question like that. You're going to hit us over the knuckles with a ruler if we don't get it right.
It is getting tougher, Brownie.
Our fans have asked for a higher degree of difficulty, and they're getting it. 3-1. Lance McCullers and the Astros leading. The Angels batting in the 7th inning. C.J. Cron is 1 for 2, a double to right. It is strike one. McCullers had 90 pitches for the night now. Last time out, he threw 89 pitches in going 5 innings here against Boston. And it was logical to assume that he had some rust on him after not starting a game for 11 days. That's ripped a long way foul, but nonetheless, it's hard to find fault with a rookie with a 2.60 ERA for his first 12 major league starts.
No fear in this guy. I would say the same thing for Carlos Correa. Preston Tucker continues to come up big in big games.
Check swing call is made by Clint Fagan at first base. That takes the count to 2-2. 31,272 the paid attendance tonight. That's about 7,000 more than last night. 24,031. The dollar hot dogs are a big hit. That's probably not all of it. Wednesday's hump day. A lot of people realizing they're past the halfway mark of the work week, and they will allow themselves a little treat here and there. What a nice treat. A battle for first place with dollar hot dogs and some $10 tickets available. Ground ball up the middle. Altuve dives, throws off balance. Wow! That is an amazing, magical play by Jose Altuve.
When Altuve couldn't get to his feet on this, I thought there was no chance. I'm dying right now to see the replay. Now, you get your glove on this ball, you're fortunate. You hang on to it, that's special. But I guess he did come to the feet, but he was falling over backwards. A degree of difficulty off the charts.
That is magnificent.
John Singleton, a second big pick of the night.
He never had his balance on this play.
Those are memories.
We'll go home and try that later tonight. McCullers on the comebacker. Throws out Gillespie. That is just one of the best plays we've seen all year. That ball was hit sharply. When he left his feet and stopped the ball, I thought he won't try a throw. That's an amazing play.
You temporarily forgot that was Jose Altuve,
You're
right?
right. You're right.
Look at that. And again, John Singleton, second time tonight, a very nice pick.
That is an almost impossible play, throwing from that position. Now Giovatella takes strike one. Trevor Gott is warming up in the Angels pen. That is just, that's a play. You could see that play 10 times tonight, and it would not be enough.
It doesn't become any more believable with each viewing.
Roll to Singleton. Tossing to McCullers for a 1-2-3-7. He has retired 8 in a row, and because of this, the play of the night from Altuve, it is a 1-2-3 inning.
the broadcast. We showed you some great defensive plays made by Carlos Correa. What a plays after we saw that Jose Altuve one. Want to watch these too. Wow. Eric Correa got a lot of votes. This was the second play that we showed you against the Angels, the over-the-shoulder catch. C also got a lot of votes too. That, of course, in Kansas City this weekend. This great play in the bottom of the ninth. It would have been the game-saving play, but they ended up losing. However, playoff atmosphere, just big-time play. Guys, I don't know if you got a lot of tweets, but I got mostly A, the Air Correa play, and C from the fans being their favorite there.
I got mostly C. Hank Conger taking ball one. He's 1 for 2. How about you, Ash?
Kind of a mixture. You know, and I was thinking about that B play. That might have been the scariest one of that trio because George Springer was coming on from center field. I believe it was George.
Looked like George, yeah.
And it was one of those plays where with your back to home plate, you have no idea. All you can do is look over the shoulder as much as possible. And where is George?
3-1 ball game with Conger batting and grounding. Ibar. 1 out. Conger's now 1 for 3. He was a part of the go-ahead rally in the 5th inning. Singleton will bat. He's walked and popped short. Matt Holliday has left the Cardinals game with a right quad strain, and that's the same injury he had earlier this season.
By the way, getting a number of correct answers on the name that Astro.
Yeah. Fans are really sharp on that one. They strike one. We're trying to get questions they can't look up by Googling.
That one had its path.
One ball, one strike. Center field. That's going to fly into the Astros bullpen. Singleton with a homer. Number 1. 4-1 Astros as Singleton connects, giving him his 5th run batted in.
Big John's had a nice night. And boy, that home run bat from John Singleton could be very valuable for this team. It was another breaking ball that hung up right through the heart of the plate. John might have gotten tied up by 1/4 of an inch there, but still so strong he could drive it out.
And that will be the exit point for Garrett Richards. Astros lead at 4-1, 100 pitches for Richards. He leaves, and the bullpen will come into play as Singleton is connected. Back in a moment.
AT&T call to the bullpen as the Angels have to turn in that direction. And they bring on the right-hander Trevor Gott. 18th game of the year. Got some nice numbers. Angels have actually turned into a solid pitching club.
He does throw hard.
Last 5 appearances, though, roughed up to the tune of a .675 earning.
He's pitched twice against the Astros. 2 innings of hitless baseball. Hasn't walked anybody. 22 years old, from the University of Kentucky. San Diego drafted him in the 6th round in 2013. Traded him to the Angels last July, along with Houston Street, for 4 prospects. Jake Marisnick comes up. He's 1 for 2. He ripped a double on the ground near third base back in the 5th inning. Angels have not been nearly as good pitching on the road as they have at home this season. Oh, that got the home plate umpire. Greg Gibson went down. First pitch from Trevor Gott really resonated, unfortunately, with Gibson.
Well, even the umpires are not immune to this sort of thing, but wow. And umpires aren't happy when it's just simply a catcher missing a pitch like this. But you know what? Where that ball hits Greg Gibson is where a lot of catchers get hit a lot of times. And they're just expected to shake it off and keep moving.
That's head athletic trainer Nate Lucero, and by the way, his daughter Sophia Rose Lucero is celebrating her 11th birthday today. I wanted to pass that along. And he's helping Greg Gibson after that 96 mile per hour pitch flipped him on the left arm. Need to get some ice on that right away.
I'm not sure what you do, though. I mean, you can see where it got him. It got him real good. You get the blood vessel broken under there, and you get a quick swelling.
He's going to tape it up so it doesn't swell anymore, and they'll get ice on it probably immediately after the game.
About all you can do, and hope that nothing's broken.
Well, you know, you think about it, Nash, you worked with these men in blue for so many games, the risk that they have umpiring the plate on plays like that.
And he's thinking, catch the ball.
Yeah,
it's not a foul tip.
Carlos Perez is not his favorite catcher right now.
Now, there was a little bit of a grumble right there, and Perez is saying, hey, I didn't do it on purpose. Well, yeah,
it still hurts.
Yeah, didn't change anything.
That was ball 1 to Jake Marisnick. Now Trevor Gott gets back to work. He shoots a line drive out into right center field. Good night for Marisnick again. 2 for 3. George Springer's picked a click tonight.
Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for your details. And by the way, earlier in the game, before Jake had a hit, I saw the one swing that just looked like he was going to air it out. Really a better swing than he's been taking. And now a couple of knocks on the night. Very nice to see for Jake.
He draws the throw. With 14 steals and 18 tries, he will be watched carefully with Altuve batting. Altuve 1 for 3. And another throw. A hard one goes over to Pujols. The Astros have 9 steals in 14 attempts against the Angels this year. One or the other of these two teams has been in the lead in the AL West since April 18th. Strike to Altuve. Altuve with an 18-game home hitting streak. Try to improve that tomorrow. First fly ball will hang up for the right fielder Cole Calhoun. That's out number 2. Apparently, if the deal goes through with the Phillies and the Texas Rangers for Cole Hamels, the Phillies would get the catcher Alfaro and other players. Rangers have a pretty good farm system. They can part with some of those young players to get Hamels.
Well, Philadelphia clearly needs some young talent coming their way.
Tucker ripped a homer in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Papelbon could be very helpful to the Nationals if Storen will accept his setup role now. And he was asked for comment by some media sources, and he said he had already made all the comments he was going to make about the trade to the Nationals front office and his agent. Steven Souza Jr. has 15 homers to lead all rookies in the American League, but his batting average is .209. Foul back by Tucker.
That was an unfettered swing right there.
Yes.
Letting it fly. And there's something to be said for that. People will say don't try to do too much, but take a good swing. And this is it.
Well, he's already smoked one ball to right field for a homer. Now the reports are that the Tigers all-star Yoenis Cespedes is being aggressively pursued by the Mets.
They're going to have an entirely new outfield before the night's over.
Correa's on deck. 0-2. Lucas Duda has 6 homers in the last 4 games. He has hit 3 solo shots off 3 different Padre pitchers. But those are the New York 3 runs, and they trail San Diego 7-3. At strike 3. Tucker caught looking to end the Astros 7th inning. They get a Singleton bomb. 1 run on 2 hits, and they lead it 4-1 after 7.
Performance is powered by Kubota. Talking about Lance McCullers. Another really good 7 innings tonight. 5 hits allowed and 1 run that came early back in the 2nd inning. Just 5 strikeouts. Again, not overpowering as he can be, but quite sharp at times. Good breaking balls. Spotted some fastballs well. Didn't see a whole lot from the changeup tonight from Lance. But boy, you can't kick about this kind of an outing from this youngster.
He turns it over to Pat Neshek with the 4-1 lead. Neshek coming in for the 8th inning. In 42 games, he's 3-1 with a 2.65 ERA and a whip of 0.80. 22 holds, the most since Doug Brocail in 08 with the Astros.
We've talked so much about the bullpen, but I'm not sure it's been enough because they have been that good.
And Neshek, a huge part of that. And now in this 8th inning, he will face the number 9 hitter, Carlos Perez, who has 2 hits. He deals ball 1. McCullers retired the final 8 men he faced in 7 innings, allowing the Angels 5 hits, 1 run. With no walks, he struck out 5. Just really a solid game for him. It's 1-1, and he could be 4-0 at home. His ERA at home is well below 2. That's a strike to Perez as he swings and doesn't come close to connecting. 1-2. Astros bullpen has the 2nd lowest bullpen ERA in the American League, 2.64. Neshek with a fly ball to center, watches Marisnick chase it, and Marisnick just coasts on over for out number 1. Boy, does he cover the ground with those long strides.
Join the Astros this Sunday, August 2nd, when 10,000 fans receive a Craig Biggio replica Hall of Fame plaque at the Biggio Hall of Fame weekend presented by Coca-Cola. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS, and you can do it today.
De Jesus is 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs in his Angel debut. There's strike 1 to David.
Isn't Marisnick quite a ground eater?
He just makes it look easy. Change-up hit to left center field. Marisnick comes over. Tucker is there. 2 outs for Neshek.
Closer look now at tomorrow's pitching matchup, presented by Chevron. Care for your car. It'll be Scott Kazmir back out for a 2nd outing now for the Astros as he opposes right-hander Matt Shoemaker. If you didn't get to see Scott Kazmir in that 1st outing in Kansas City, you missed something. He made it look so easy and a very welcome customer in this rotation.
Our director Paul Bykowski is driving one of those cars home to his lake house tonight.
I could just about guess which one it is, too.
Strike to Cole Calhoun. He's 0 for 3. None of the top 4 hitters for the Angels has reached base in this game. Well, that is a serious job by McCullers and Neshek on these top 4 Angel hitters. 0 for 13 collectively. That's a swing, and it's 0-2 on Calhoun. There's a chance Mike Trout will be back in that Angel lineup tomorrow night. Still a lot of baseball to be played this season. This is game number 100 for the Angels. They do not want to risk having a lingering problem in Mike Trout's wrist by rushing him back too soon. Neshek walks off the mound. We talked earlier about this veteran bullpen, and Pat Neshek is an integral part of that. He's been through some races. Swing and a miss. It's a 1-2-3 8th inning. It's 4-1 Houston.
Brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Here were your clues we gave you earlier. He was the first Astro to homer in his first major league at bat. Of course, that would be pitcher Jose Sosa. I had a lot of correct guesses on this, too. Fans are all over it.
They are very knowledgeable fans, Julia.
I was even informed that the pitcher that he hit the home run off. And you guys are going to have to confirm for me, Danny Frisella.
Really? Okay. Sounds good.
That's just showing off.
No, I'm not. That's a show off for James Bryan out there. Nice going.
Nice, James. There was another Astro later who hit a home run in his first major league at bat on the first pitch. That might be a question for later on in the season. He's a local guy, though. Here is Jose Alvarez. 2-1 with a 3.12 ERA and a 1.07 whip for this left-hander. And he's done a nice job against lefties. He happens to be facing a righty here, and Carlos Correa is 1 for 3. A single to right field in the 6th inning. Ground ball to shortstop here. Ibar plays it. 1 pitch, 1 out for Alvarez.
This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson. 4 years ago today, the Astros traded 2011 All-Star Hunter Pence to the Phillies for a package of prospects. You don't know much about them when that kind of a deal is made, but you always hope it turns into something positive. And you get John Singleton, Domingo Santana, who's having another really good year in the minor leagues, Jake Marisnick, and Colin Moran. And yeah, it's starting to pan out pretty well.
And the reason we're saying Jake Marisnick and Colin Moran before you say, wait a minute, guys, is that Jared Cozart was a part of that trade from the Phillies to the Astros, and then he was later dealt to Miami in return for Marisnick and Moran. Gaddis, the batter, he's 0 for 3. 1 ball, 1 strike. Garrett Richards in 6 1/3 innings allowed the Astros 7 hits, 4 runs, walking 2, fanning 3, got in 2/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, had a strikeout. That rolls out to shortstop, barehanded. Ibar tries it, but it's an infield hit for the triples master, Gaddis. Using his legs again. He's 1 for 4.
Yeah, if you're going to leg out the 3 baggers, go ahead and get yourself some infield knocks in the process. Big swing, and now it's time to dig. Pretty good effort by Ibar, but you just can't throw out speed all the time.
Nope. Hit number 9 for the Astros. They've all come after the 4th inning. Now Valbuena over shortstop into left center field. That will fall in for him. Gaddis into second. Valbuena's 2 for 4.
A dink and a dunk, and the Astros have something going.
They reached double figures again. They had 14 hits and 10 runs last night. Now Alvarez will face Colby Rasmus with 2 on and 1 out.
You know what? If you wind up with a night where you come up with double-digit hits and Garrett Richards was the starting pitcher, you've really done something.
Excellent point. Rasmus made it 1-1 with a sac fly in the 5th inning. He's 0 for 2. And it's strike 1. It looks as if that Cole Hamels deal is going down. Hamels to the Rangers, we mentioned that earlier, has not officially been announced yet. The dominoes are falling. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros, we were checking, Ash, you said they have 10 games left with the Rangers?
Yes.
So that will be a factor when they are facing the Texas Rangers. And trying to beat Cole Hamels. It's 2-1. The Angels have played 12 games with Texas so far, so they would have about 7 remaining. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's realistically the only way that's going to impact the race, because unless Texas just gets smoking hot, they're not likely to get back in this thing. And stranger things have happened.
They'd love to be spoilers. That's all that's out there for them. Off the plate, it's a full count now to Colby Rasmus.
But it's also easy to dream when you know you've got a great shot at getting Yu Darvish back next year, and you add Cole Hamels. That's a pretty good start to your rotation.
Well, that's their thinking. In the dirt, and Rasmus takes a walk to load the bases. He was patient in accepting that walk. It's Hank Conger coming up. Oh, we'll wait and process all these trades come mid-afternoon Friday. Doesn't mean more trades can't be made. They certainly can, but waivers will be required after the end of the month.
Yeah, and we've seen in the past some big ones actually get made after that trade deadline. But you know, so much of it now is about your willingness or lack thereof to get rid of young talent, and the Astros have gotten rid of a couple of the young pieces in the minor leagues. Do you step beyond when you're playing this well? It's a tough call.
Conger the batter. That's out to left field. Murphy waiting, all the runners tagging. Here's the catch, and Gaddis comes home. It's 5-1 on a sac fly by Conger, the former Angel, making an impact against his old teammates in this series. That's his 15th run batted in.
Well, this is a nice offensive night. It started out looking like it was going to be really tough to even get a run. But you pick up 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 1 more in the 7th and the 8th innings. And fairly healthy night offensively.
Now a 4-run lead for the Astros. Looking for more with Singleton now. He ripped a homer in the 7th. He also has a walk tonight. It's ball 1 to John.
Astros average about 4.5 runs a game, and that puts them among the leaders in the American League in that category. So you score 5 runs, you're doing pretty well.
Singleton's homer was his first of the major league season for him, and his 43rd at bat. Last year he hit 13 with the Astros. John looks at a strike. It's 1-1.
And Conger just got out in front and hit it on the end of the bat. It looked like the kind of trajectory you want to see for a home run. It just wasn't enough. But old teammates, they still love each other. Albert Pujols receiving the kiss.
Singleton rolls one up the middle, right by the umpire, on through into center field. And here's run number 6 scoring. RBI single. Valbuena coming across home plate. Rasmus taking 3rd. Singleton's driven in a couple to give him 6.
Sometimes just a night like this can bring the confidence back, and I imagine the confidence has not been sky high for John Singleton, but with a dinger and an RBI single, a chance of regrouping and getting on that offensive train.
Six to 1 Houston. Astros won by 5 last night, 10-5. Marisnik's the batter, and it's strike 1 to Jake. He's 2 for 3. And similar to last night, the hits have been sprinkled throughout the lineup. Everybody's on the board from that starting lineup except Rasmus, and he has a sac fly and a walk. Marisnik looks at it. Last night in the 14-hit attack, the Astros had everybody hitting except Valbuena, and he was hit by a pitch and scored a run. So once again, 2 nights in a row, all 9 hitters have contributed something here. That's what Jeff Luhnow referred to today on a radio show, that has pleased him so much about this Astros team. The contributions from throughout. Altuve on deck. Off the plate, and it's 2-1. The Astros have a run differential of 72 runs over their opponents this season. Risnick foul tips it, and that's a strikeout to end the 8th inning. They tack on 2 on 3 hits and leave a couple. Moving to the 9th, it's 6-1 Astros. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Another good night for hitting for the Houston Astros. They did not have a hit through the first 4. But now as they take this 6-1 lead to the 9th, they have 11 hits to the Angels 5. And it's the closer, Luke Gregerson, coming in. He has not worked since he got save number 21 Friday night in Kansas City. He's 3-1 with 21 saves in 24 tries.
Therein lies the need to get back out there and pitch. And most guys that are closers, in fact, I think you could say all, don't like coming in and pitching when there's no save possibility. But sometimes you just simply got to get the work in.
Albert Pujols bats. He's 0 for 3. That's up and in, ball 1. Pat Neshek had a very clean 8th inning, needing just a few pitches to get his 3 outs, and he had 1 strikeout. Lance McCullers Jr.'s 5th win of the season is on the line. It's 2-0 to Pujols. The Rangers are reported to be nearing a deal for Cole Hamels, and the players that they would give up, according to reports, are numerous in the trade. Mostly minor league talent. It's 3-0 now to Pujols. According to one report, they will send AA outfielder Nick Williams, left-hander Matt Harrison, catcher Jorge Alfaro, and he's recovering from ankle surgery, right-hander Jared Eichhoff, and right-hander Alec Asher to the Phillies. And it could be officially announced as early as Thursday, according to this report. 3-1 now to Pujols. Shot by Pujols. He's watching this one head for the seats, and that one gets out. Pujols connecting for number 30, makes it a 6-2 ball game. That's his 49th career homer against the Houston Astros. He's the all-time leader among Astros opponents.
You don't want to fall behind 3-0, then 3-1, and have to come with a fastball to Albert Pujols. He has handled that before.
Another 30 home run season for Albert. Ties Sammy Sosa on the all-time RBI list for 27th. What a milestone for Albert Pujols. David Murphy looks at ball one. Murphy takes. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count for Gregerson in this non-save situation. That's home run number 5 allowed this year in 37 innings. 2 balls and a strike. Only Mike Trout has hit more major league homers this season than Albert. Trout has 31. That's the 13th 30 home run season for Pujols. He's the only player to have 13 30 home run seasons in his first 15 years in the majors. Hank Aaron had a total of 15 years with 30 or more homers. A-Rod has had 14 along with Barry Bonds. Mike Schmidt and Babe Ruth had 13. And now Pujols joins them.
A-Rod's got another great shot this year.
Sure does. Murphy looks at it, and it's 3-2 now.
Now, second straight 3-ball count here in the 9th inning for Luke Gregerson.
That's chopped up the middle, and now a long run for Correa, but he doesn't have a throw to get Murphy. With the infield shifted around, he had a long way to go to come back to his right. So Murphy will get the infield hit after the Pujols homer.
When Correa finally did get to this ball and get leather on it, he didn't catch it cleanly, and just no chance to make the exchange. I'm not sure there was any play at that point anyway. I thought the only possibility was if Valbuena could get there, which he could not.
That's 7 hits for the Angels. Ibar doubled and scored in the second inning. He's 1 for 3. Good crowd of 31,272 enjoying the night. Bunted. Valbuena was calling for it. Gregerson tried to make the play, but then he didn't pick up the baseball, and that's a bunt single for Ibar. Murphy to second, still nobody out, and Cron will come up.
Ibar's one of those guys that if you give him a perceived shot at a bunt single, he's going to take it. And he's a good bunter on top of that. He showed it early, but he softly puts it down in a great spot, and he's tough to throw out.
Now the Angels stir up trouble. They have 3 consecutive hits off Gregerson. He just never got it in his hand. Tried to make the sliding play. Cron doubled to right field in the 7th inning. He was picked clean by Altuve up the middle on that tremendous diving play. And tight ball 1. Connor Gillespie's on deck. Angels trying to stir up a lot of trouble here in the 9th. They have 2 runs on 8 hits. They've left 4. In for a strike. That evens the count at 1-1 for Luke Gregerson.
This is where, if you're Luke Gregerson, you could really use a ground ball for a double play and just aid your way to get out of the inning.
Chad Qualls is warming up for Houston. In for a strike. It's 1-2. If the Astros win, they will take the edge in their season series with the Angels, 7-5. They will also be the proud possessors of first place in the AL West by 1 game. Struck him out. 1 out.
Now you get your 1 out. 1 at a time doesn't hurt either. That tough slider to induce the strikeout. And you can see Cron was nowhere near that one.
Connor Gillespie had the RBI triple in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 3. The Astros have not been in sole possession of first since July 11th. They went into that tailspin right up to the All-Star break. And they fell out of first at the break by a half game. That's strike 1. Not that that's a big deal at this point. But winning a series at home, and that's what they would have done if they win this game tonight, regardless of what happens tomorrow night, is something to talk about.
Hey, just keep applying the heat.
Ground ball. Gregerson knocks it down, throws now to second, gets the force out to Correa. Would have had a game-ending double play had he fielded it cleanly.
Or had he let it go on by. Either way, stay tuned after the game as the studio crew breaks down all the action from tonight's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show presented by Houston Methodist.
So all kinds of breaking news coming up with Kevin and Art after the game tonight. Now 1 out remaining for Luke Gregerson to nail down this Houston win. Johnny Giavotella, the batter. He's 0 for 3. We're getting a report now that the Mets general manager Sandy Alderson has said that the Carlos Gomez trade has not happened and will not happen for the Mets. That's strike 1.
That sounds definitive.
It does. And to boot, the Mets lost to San Diego at home 7-3. Not a good night in New York. Lucas Duda hit 3 homers and they lost the game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Everybody standing here at Minute Maid Park. Thanks to Matt Thomas for his t-shirts. Crush City t-shirts. Crush City is alive tonight.
We wearing those to the ballpark tomorrow?
We're wearing them tomorrow. Shot up the middle, past the diving Correa. Now 6-3 ball game on the RBI single by Giavotella. That's an 8-game hitting streak for him, extending his career high. And it's hit number 4 of the inning, bringing up Carlos Perez,
who represents the tying run.
Yeah. Well, it was homer, infield hit, bunt hit, and now this one a ground ball on through to make it a 3-run lead. Chad Qualls has been warming up. And looks like Tony Sipp has joined him. The Angels have stirred up trouble. They have 9 hits now. Perez has 2 of those, a single and a double. Jesus is on deck. Ground ball wide of third for strike 1.
I hate to see that hanging breaking ball sitting there on the inner third, ready for a guy in this situation.
Might be Gregerson's last hitter if he doesn't get him.
Yeah, I would think likely.
He's thrown 22 pitches. That is just off the plate. 1 and wide.
Could be the 6th straight win at home for the Astros. It's 1-2.
There's the one you want to see. Now put it a little further toward the outside edge. Go have some fun.
This could be a 35-17 club in this ballpark.
Fly ball left field. Tucker waiting. The Astros are in first place in the American League West. Luke Gregerson gets the final 3 outs. The Angels come up with 2 runs on 4 hits, and they strand 2. And now the Astros move 1 game in front. They're even in the loss column. Taking over first in the AL West again. Lance McCullers going to 5-3, beating Garrett Richards. He's 10-8. Corbin takes a lap, and the Astros win it 6-3 tonight.